Hi guys, um, lovely day. Just thought I'd show you that there. Truck went by, so um, just making sure I didn't get hit by that. Oh, it's lovely. Take that off. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. There's the little fella back with me. Yeah. Boy. So, kind of feel like a bit of a hypocrite making this video, because I've been neglecting a subject which I think is pretty important. I wanted to talk about it, and that is autism and bullying. So it's sadly something that happens way too often. No, way too often. It's very tragic, but it's an uncomfortable topic. Statistics are upsetting, to say the least. You know, even like reading it out is upsetting for me, because with something like 1 in 5 autistic kids have experienced bullying in their lifetime, which is quite sad, really. And I wish I could say that wasn't the same for me, but it is. I guess I'm just fortunate enough that it wasn't physical, because I could look after myself in that regard, but the mental shit does take a toll as well, you know? Definitely. Boy. You know, like people ripping into you, singling you out, shit like that. And then when you go home and talk to people about it, they're completely clueless. They don't know how to deal with it, and then they just give out to you when you reach for stuff, which is why I did reach for alcohol and what have you, because it was fucking horrible. You want to block it out, you know. When you're introverted, you're shy, you're fucking terrible with your words. Learn to speak to people. Now, I'm not saying that I couldn't speak, but I couldn't relate to what other people were interested in, and then many times I just didn't care. It didn't excite me. Fucking hell. Keep getting really chapped lips and then bits of skin falling off. It's fucking horrible. Need to load up on the Vaseline. But it's something that really annoys me how it was dealt with. Really annoys me. Like, it feels like my mum will deny this almost, but it's almost like when you're not a problem for everybody else, they will just leave you in the corner to deal with it, you know? And of course, if it's all verbal, you can defend yourself. People just leave you, don't they? And they just give out to you. Violence is not right. This is why I have a big problem with that. This lad wants to walk all over the place. Hands there. Good boy. Good lad. He's a good boy. Good boy. I have a very hard time giving out to him. He's changing over now again. You can see how much my mind wanders. And I guess I wanted to, because this is something that I didn't really want to make, because it's not a very nice subject. It gets me quite down thinking about it. But it's very real. Even saying I was bullied is shit. It's fucking horrible. So you can see it's a more difficult one to make, but you are different, you stand out more, you don't fit the social norms. Then obviously getting the EUPD diagnosis would explain the emotional outbursts all the time, which people did not deal with right, and I don't care what anybody says, they didn't. They dealt with that terribly. People poke me like 5 or 6 times, annoying me, pissing me off. This one gets me very heated, because I'm just like, the amount of things that could have been avoided if people had just looked after me. I know I get quite bitter about this, but it's very upsetting. It really is. And I think of the amount of shit that could have been avoided if only someone had just stood up for me. I don't normally cry in these videos, but I'm not even being funny, I'm not fucking far off. It took me a while to psych myself up to make this. I did a module for compassion focused therapy, where you write yourself a letter, and it's like kind of going, look, you might not have been perfect in this situation, but shit was happening, shit was going on, and it's not your fault, basically. Or also like owning up to stuff. By no means was I perfect. And if I'm going to be completely honest, the way I treated some kids in school fucking ashames me. And you could say, oh, the cycle repeats itself or whatever. No, it appalled me the way I treated some kids. Like, that's what I feel guiltiest about. You're like, oh, I don't deserve sympathy. But I reached out to those lads years later, and I said, look, mate, the way I treated you wasn't fucking fair. I'm very sorry about that. And that was the right thing to do. But nobody has reached out to me saying that. And you know what? Fine. But I could lie to you and say, oh, I accept that, and that's fine. Yeah, that's their business, not mine. No, that pisses me off. It's like, fuck them. You know what I mean? I'm admitting to it, I'm no fucking angel. Like, and as I say, the way I treated some people appalls me. And if I think I've said this before, but there was this lad in school, I don't know whether to mention his name or not. I'm not mentioning him in a negative light, but I won't mention his name just because poor lad went through an awful time. Poor fella was going through a rough time. Like, in the household, you know, like with his parents. And I was guilty of giving him a hard time, and we went to Killery with the school, which it's like an adventure centre. Had a great time, and me and him were, as you can see, I like cold water swimming, and me and him were going out swimming, you know, like when nobody else was. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. And I called him a name, and I've been doing this for a while, you know. And he said, could you please stop? I really don't like it. And I felt for the lad. Felt like I'm really fucking hurting this fella. I'm really hurting this fella here. This has to fucking stop. And I was concerned he was going to kill himself, because one of my mates said they were sent out of class to look for him, and he'd smashed his, I think he punched a mirror or something, and his hand was gushing blood, and it wasn't fucking nice. It's not an easy one, you know. Oh, fuck off. Fucking fast, just I'll cut that bit. Some prick in an Audi blaring off there. You know, and you just, yeah. But that poor lad, getting back to my empathetic side, someone told him to kill himself. We were all like, oh, that's a bit far now, mate, come on. And one of the lads said, what if he did? What if he went and actually did it? I was like, fuck. I started thinking about that. And I went to him before he left the school because I was very concerned about him. And this is after me contributing to a lot of that, I have to admit. It wasn't the worst, but that doesn't excuse any of it. I'm not giving myself any excuses. What I did was wrong. And I can tell you now, he was so grateful that I went to him. Everyone was giving the poor lad a hard time. I said, look mate, you alright? Let's go and talk to a teacher about it. I'm not qualified at this shit, but let's go and talk to him. And we did, and he said, man, you've no idea how much that means to me. And that made me feel way better than ever treating people like shit did, you know. And that's a good thing. So like I can't ask for sympathy here when I know I've been an arsehole too. But I can't help feel like everyone handled me terribly. I was quite a pleasant kid when I was younger, and then people kept annoying me, kept fucking poking me, and I lost it. There was very little sympathy given. The right things were said when it was convenient to do that, you know, like I think you're great and all this. That's easy to say when there's no pressure on anyone, when we're sitting in a relaxed environment. But the amount of times, like, my mum asked me before to mind chairs outside, you know, and I couldn't communicate with people, and there was no empathy for the fact that I couldn't do that. I just got way too overwhelmed, and I was like, damn, why the hell didn't you say something? I'm not asking for much. Not asking for much sympathy, just a little bit, you know, because at this stage I was practically non-verbal. And wasn't asking for an awful lot of sympathy, and none was given. Could barely communicate with people. So I feel like that was just a shitty type of feeling, you know. Didn't like it at all. Or like going to training when I just felt really overwhelmed, and it just got to me. The week was difficult, and because I'd gone to training and toughed it out before, that almost worked against me. My dad just said, get out of the car, what do you want me to do, hold your fucking hand? I was like, no, have a bit of fucking sympathy. Couldn't explain it any other way than I was just too overwhelmed. Now it was like a panic attack or anxiety attack, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line, I couldn't function, felt like shit. Wasn't able to deal with it, and no sympathy was given when I needed it. People whip round this road, like, so just have to look up, make sure that I'm in by the side of the road. But when I say, like, every day someone would say something to try and wind me up, if I lost a game at the weekend, people would rip into me over it. Lads who never played rugby, and I get really annoyed and go, oh, you fucking pussy, you wouldn't play. And yeah, I used a lot of toxic terms, yeah, I did, but I was fucking raging at them. So you wouldn't have the balls to go out and play, and they didn't. But it doesn't help when they're all ripping into you, and all they want is that reaction off you. And it was all the time. And if some of these lads, as you say, would have given me smokes and weed and whatever to try and almost entice me and go, ah, yeah, we're only having a laugh, so you relax, yeah. And I was kind of thinking, well, they're the best I have, so they're not real friends, but fuck it. Better than sitting at home doing nothing, isn't it? Being out with people who treat me like shit. As I've learned over the years, that's often how it happens. You think they're your mates, but they're not. But it all came to a head, and we were out celebrating a night out. It's like celebrating 60 years of rugby in the school. And then we had to be in a Gael talk afterwards the next day, which is a great idea, isn't it? For our leaving cert. For anyone who doesn't know what Gaeltacht is like, you go to learn how to speak Irish. Stay there for about a week or so. This was arranged by the school now, so it was fun. But to tell you like really what I mean by adults just like really not handling a situation well, they would always give out and tell me to calm down. We've been out drinking with a couple of the teachers the night before, might add. Had about 2 hours sleep, so I was dying, absolutely dying. Up early for the Gaeltacht. And I was like, I'm not up for anyone's bullshit. Everyone was always saying stuff to me. All the lads were on the back of the bus saying stuff to me. I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep here. I'm not gonna let it get to me. I got to a point where I was like, they could say what they want, like, don't give a shit anymore. I'm too worn out to deal with this. Can't be arsed. Hasn't gotten me anywhere saying stuff before, so I'm just not gonna respond to it. I'm gonna ignore it, you know, which is what I did. Oh boy. So I sat there, got my seat, basically just made sure that I was as close to the teachers as I could be, so if anyone did try and piss me off, they'd be there to say something to them. Well, lads were hurling abuse at me, of course, you know, and I was like,